'cause I'm done cleaning up your mess. Found myself in my regrets. I've become a little stronger now, a little stronger now.
Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well. Jamie here. So yeah, did you know that by the time you're 20, at least 25% of men out there will have some sort of experience of hair loss, and by the time you're 35, it's about 66% of men will experience some sort of hair loss. You know, and unfortunately for myself, I'm one of those men. Unfortunately, I lost my hair mid-20s to late 20s, and but the thing is, there are options out there, and I chose one, and that's what this video is all about, right? So stick around and see what you think.
How do you do? 'Cause I'm feeling so good.
So yeah, you know, just before I get into the detail on this as well, just want to explain that this vlog is just about my experience and my journey on this. Obviously I'm not qualified, I'm not endorsed by the clinic that I'll recommend, you know, I have no interest in any of that kind of stuff. It's literally, I understand there's a lot of guys out there who are probably going through the same or have been through the same, and for me, I want to share with you my experience. Obviously make up your own mind. It's up to you, but yeah, right, here we go. So yeah, right, so it's just a quick one, so I'll explain to you the scenario, right? I'm 18 years old at this point, and I start noticing hair loss just around this point. And at that point, if I'm honest, at 18, I felt invincible anyway, it didn't faze me at all, right? Roll the clock forward to the early 20s, I started to see significant hair loss around this area, and finding, like, thinning kind of stuff and looking very fine. And it was at that point I had to try and change my hairstyle, so I had it quite long. I was in a band in my late teens, you know, indie band. Loved that kind of lifestyle, it was awesome. But it got to the point where I had to cut my hair short and rock that look, which made my hair look less as fine as it would have done or was when it was longer. So it was at that point, then you know, coming up to 24, 25, I started using Regain and started introducing some, you know, some sort of hair loss preventative hair loss actions, which was, you know, the typical shampoos which claim to have hair loss, the like say the Regain stuff that I was on, you know. And for me, it probably prolonged the experience of the hair loss. It probably prolonged it right through to the point where it was 29. And I thought, yeah, I need to do something about it at this point now. My dad lost his hair when he was 21, 23, and it probably would have been closer to the same for me as well at that point, if it wasn't something like Regain, I think, you know what I mean? You can never, I can't prove it, but I felt like it had some role in it, right? So, coming up to the late 20s, hitting 30, I need to do something about it, right? And to cut the long story short, I ended up going with Micro Scalp Pigmentation. It was one of the cheapest options. At that point I was bald anyway, cut all my hair off, rocking that style for a few months. It was okay, but it just wasn't something for me. So I was fairly used to having the hair loss anyway. And if you look at me now, right, in general, you know, you could argue that there's no real significant difference between it, but if you look at the before and afters and that kind of stuff, it's just enough for me to feel more confident than I was during those few months, if you know what I mean. So yeah, cool.
A little stronger now.
Yeah, so I'll give you a little bit of introduction to my backstory, obviously my experience of going bald and things like that, and obviously I've explained to you the decision that I wanted to go for micro scalp pigmentation. I've given you a little bit of a definition to it really, but obviously just quickly read this one out to you. So basically it's more than just a hair tattoo. It's a popular non-surgical hair loss treatment during which natural pigments are applied to the scalp. It's within a dermal layer of the scalp, and it basically ultimately replicates like what looks like, hopefully what you can see with me, is a shaved head. That's the appearance that it kind of meant to give off really. Deciding that, obviously I started looking around, did a bit of research, and yeah, so basically I went with a clinic called Vinci Hair Clinic, right, and they've got places all over the UK, I think all over Europe to be honest with you, and like walk-in centres where you can discuss with clients and you know, the professionals about what options you've got, and I think they do hair transplant and things like that. But their actual clinic where they do the non-surgical operation was in Manchester, and that's where I went to get this done. And the staff there are like, they're incredible, they're really friendly. The experience was perfect, you know. In terms of the actual procedure itself, if I remember right, it's over 3 sessions, and they want it that way. Even if they could get it done in 1 session, it's not the point, because it's your skin and things like that. Obviously it can take in certain areas on the scalp than others, you know what I mean. So they have to like let your skin take it, then you give it 2 weeks, week or 2 weeks, and then you go again, and they'll go again so they can cover the parts of the scalp which didn't take the first time round as well as other areas obviously. So yeah, the first session was probably about 6 hours, it was the longest one, and if I'm honest I left feeling like it was a done deal. If I'm honest, it was fine. 2 weeks later I went again, that was probably 3 hours, 3 or 4 hours, and then a week, you know, 2 weeks after that, that was probably 2 hours, a little bit shorter on the last one. The first session really is where they cover the hairline and, you know, they make sure that they've got the right sort of natural tone of your scalp with what was your hair and things like that. It's got to look natural, and that's the aim of the game with it all, kind of thing really. So yeah, you know, it's really cool. Hopefully you can see a bit of a difference with it. And what does it feel like? To be fair, it just feels like kind of like the sensation what a tattoo feels like, to be honest with you. It's just like someone dabbing like a sharp pen in your scalp for a long time. After a while it just feels like a tingling sensation. If I had to give it out of a 10 score of pain, probably like a 3 or something like that. It's not really that painful. It's just constant, you know what I mean? You're there for hours on end and it happening, and I think maybe, you know, for me, I've got sensitive skin anyway, I'm fair skinned. It was probably more painful for me than potentially others who have, you know, who haven't got such sensitive skin as mine. But you know, that's all I can say on that really. It's not that bad, you know, you should be able to handle it. You're probably all wondering like how much it cost, and the thing is the procedure varies, right? You'll have to get a quote from them and prices, you know, one of those, right? But for me it costs £2,000, you know, and you might think, well, that's quite a lot of money, to be fair, right? And yes, it is a lot of money obviously, but when you look at like hair transplant procedures which can cost in the tens of thousands, especially in the UK, you know, it's one of those. For me, the way I feel about myself right now is I'm really happy, you know, it's helped my mental health, it's my confidence in work and things like that. And yeah, you know, it's never going to look like I can't grow hair, it's not the point, but I just feel a bit more complete. It's a bit weird, I can't explain it really. You'll probably feel, for the guys who are in a similar position anyway, I'll probably feel something similar. And yeah, you know, I enjoy it, right? That's fine. Will I look to go for a hair transplant? Nah, probably not. Not really fussed. This does it for me now, I think. Yeah, I highly recommend it. How do I maintain it? So I maintain my, because obviously my hair could grow in certain areas and things like that, and that's one of the things with this procedure is if you choose to go down this route, is that you've got to keep on top of your hair and cut it down in parts where it does grow still, obviously quite often. So I just use this which is a razor that they recommended actually. It's about £100, skull shaver, Pitbull silver. And yeah, it's perfect, to be honest with you. It's great. You just literally, you know, in fact, mine needs doing there, so I'm going to cut to it and get it done. Cheers. Yeah, so some of the comments I get around it, right, is a lot of people think that it's natural hair, think that I could grow it. Can't get over the fact, because when I say, you know, I'm bald kind of thing, they look at me like I'm crazy. The people who've said, because they're like, well, it looks to me like you could grow your hair, like kind of thing, you choose to have it that way. And obviously I do from Micro Scalp Pigmentation, but yeah, you know, it seems to be ticking the boxes. No one actually thinks that I'm actually bald kind of thing. So yeah, just the subtle differences, as you can see. My confidence is there. I think that pretty much wraps up this video, to be fair. So hope you've enjoyed it. A little bit of an insight to my journey and the Micro Scalp Pigmentation. Definitely recommend Vinci Hair Clinic. And that skull shave was great. You know, it's about £100 I think it was, something like that. Change the razor every 6 to 12 months. It depends on how thick you know, the hair that you have got on your head and how worn it can get down, but that's anything. But yeah, you know, cool. Yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, right? If you like this, if you like what you see, please give this video the thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel and you want to know a little bit more about the journey, about the impulse drive, things like that, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Very much appreciated. See you soon.
I do you do 'cause I'm feeling so good.